Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Guys, again we have a question based on domain, and I'm going to solve the question. The question is find the domain. Find the domain of fx. Find the domain of fx sine log base a under root 4 minus x square divided by 1 minus x. I have this question. Okay, sine log base e under root 4 minus x square divided by 1 minus x. Now I'm going to solve this question, right? The question here you can see fx, which is sine log base a under root 4 minus x square divided by 1 minus x. If you see guys, here we have sine, right? For the sine, we don't have any problem with the sine because the domain of the sine is always a real number, right? And if you see here, we have log base a, right? So here you can say this function is a logarithmic function as well as the square root function. So please keep in mind that this is a square root function. So take the value of x where these functions give you the positive values, right? So whenever you solve this question, please keep this one in your mind that this one must be a positive. Okay, so I'm going to solve this question. See, if you see this is log a, okay? So I told you if you have a log ax, right? If the base is between 0 to 1 or the greater than 1, I have no problem with that. The question that this x must be always greater than 0. This is the domain, you can say. Okay, for any logarithmic function the x must be greater than 0, right? So here we can say this is log, this is e, so this one must be what? Greater than 0. So you can say under root 4 minus x square divided by 1 minus x must be what? Greater than 0, right? This one I just make this conditions here, right? Okay, now you can say here, so here you can say we have two cases. Case number one, if this is positive, right? So this positive, so we can say positive is positive, okay? Or we can say this negative. So this negative, so negative, again positive, so we have case 2 here. This is 2 case, right? Okay, third one, if this is positive, this is negative, impossible because positive, negative always give you a negative. And we want the positive value, right? So remember one thing in your mind, that this one must be positive, the whole functions, right? Okay, and one more things, two things you have to you have to be sure that the first one is in square root functions, the second one you can say it's a rational function, and in rational function you cannot say the denominator is 0. These two things are very important when you are going to solve these questions, okay? Means you cannot take one. If by the way you solve this question and the value of the x you got is 1, then don't take that value because when you put 1 here, the function does not exist, okay? Please. And the second thing, this is a square root function. So whenever you have a domain, please check it that the square root are giving you the positive values or not, okay? So I'm going to solve here case 1 and case 2, then we will see later. So here if you see case 1, here if you see case 1, right? Case 1, okay? So I'm going to say this one, 4 minus x square, which is what? Positive. Case 2 here, sorry, this is positive, and here you can say, and 1 minus x is positive. This is case 1, right? Okay, first we will solve this question. Okay, so if this is positive, log exists. When log exists, then sine exists, right? Okay, I'm going to solve this question. Guys, here this is square root 4 minus x square. Means square root 4 minus x square is greater than 0. Means what? For what values of x, you just plug in here and this function will give you the positive values. Okay, so please have a look on my previous videos where I solve the inequality of such functions, right? So I'm not going to explain you and just give you a the brief introduction here. Look, this is under root 4 minus x square can be written as minus x square minus 4. Okay, and then you can say this can be written as x plus 2 and x minus 2, and this is 0. So whenever you have a square root, okay, whenever you have a square root and you have minus x plus 2, x minus 2, remember the graph is a half semicircle. Okay, half semicircle. So find out the zeros here first. So you can say we have here minus 2, here plus 2. So you can say this is minus 2, this is plus 2, right? So the graph, and this is always semicircle, so this is also 2. So check this one is this is the graph of this function. Okay, so if you have a square root 4 minus x square, okay, so this is the graph. Okay, and this value is always greater than 0. Okay, when you have x from minus 2 to 2, right? So whenever you have minus 2 to 2, okay, the graph is always up, means always positive side. When you take minus 2 and 2, this function has 0. I don't want 0, I want greater than 0, right? So it's very simple. Here we can take x minus 2 to 2. Here for this function, x belongs to what? Minus 2 to 2, this one. For this one. So if you have minus 2 to 2 means what? Minus 1, 0, 1 and 2. Then we have this value which is always this value is always greater than 0, and the maximum value is what? Maximum value is 2. Okay, for example, if you say 1, okay, take 1 here. So if you say 4 minus 1 under root 3 is 1.73, which is greater than 0. Okay, so minus 2 to 1. Okay, and this question, if you are going to solve this question, okay, so 1 minus x, so you can say this is minus x, this is minus 1. Okay, so when you are going to divide by minus 1, this inequality changes. So you can say x, this is change, and this is what? Less than 1. According to this one, they said x is what? Less than 1. So less than 1 is what? Minus infinity to 1, right? According to this one, right? So but we need what? The common portion of the case 1. So here minus 2 to 2, here minus infinity to 1. So you can say the common portion will be what? The maximum is 2 and the minimum is what? 1. So we can say, if you draw the graph here, if you are going to draw the graph here, right? Okay, and here this is your minus 2, this is plus 2, this is, I said to you first you have to take this value, but they said no, we want what? Just 1 2 negative minus infinity to this is minus infinity and this is 1. Okay, so the common portion, if you are going to take from minus 2 to 2 here, if you see minus 2 to 2, okay, forget about this one. X is less than 1, right? So if x is less than 1, we can say the minimum is what? Here, right? This is what? 1. You can say this is 1. Okay, so the common portion we have to take here, less than 1. They said less than 1. Less than 1. Okay, so less than 1 is what? 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. But the actual, you have to go here just to minus 2. Because if you are here, this function does not exist. So minimum value is what? Minus 2, and the maximum value is what? 1. So we can say the domain is from, see here, we can take here minus infinity to 1. For this case, we have what? We have minus 2 to 1. Now again, guys, I said to you, please keep these things in your mind, that if you are going to take a 1, okay, so 1 minus 1 does not exist. So always use the open bracket. Okay, minus 2 to 1. Okay, just I find this one, minus 2 1. This is the domain of this one, right? Minus 2 to 1. Remember, minus 2 to 1, you can check here, and this is under root 4 minus x square. So please have a look, because this is a square root function. So from minus 2 to 1, what is the nature of 4 minus x square? Because this is again, you have a square root function. So I'm going to solve here and check. Because this is a square root function, so 4 minus x square is always what? This function must be what? 0 or greater than 0 according to this function, right? According to these functions. I'm just checking. I'm sure that I cannot take this value because we need log, but I'm going to tell you just 4 minus x square, if this value is what? 0 or greater than 0, because if this value is 0, okay, so you can say this value is 0, the whole function is what? 0, this function does not exist. Okay, so I'm going to just give you one basic idea of this one. So you can say this is what? X square minus 4, then you can say what? Minus x plus 2, x minus 2, and when you divide by minus, this inequality changes. So x plus 2, x minus 2. Okay, and this cannot be 0, because if this is 0, the function does not exist. Okay, just less than 0, you can say x plus 2, x minus 2 less than 0. Okay, so you know this is 2 plus 2 minus 2, this is 2. Okay, we want the negative values here. Again, we have the same things. We are going to take the value between minus 2 to 2, and we have already taken the value minus 2 to 1 is inside to minus 2 to 2. So the domain, you can say here, minus 2 to 1, right? So if you are going to take this value here, these functions always give you the positive value. You can check minus 2, then you can take minus 1. If you take minus 1, this is 1, this function exists. If you say 0, this function exists. Even if you are going to take 1, so this is exists. But don't take 2, because if you are going to take 2 square is what? 4 minus 4 is 0. If this is 0, the whole function does not exist. So the domain is from x belongs to minus 2 to 1. This is the domain of this given function. Okay, and if you put this value here, this function also exists. And you are not going to take 1, because if you take 1 here, for example, the function does not exist. Okay, so guys, I hope you all understand. Still, if you have a problem, you just mention the comment. Whenever we have a time, I will reply you. Thank you.